Get in, nerds. We're playing Victoria 3. We are still working on getting our infamy down. So for now, I think a priority is going to be to continue building up the Algerian departments. And we're going to, at the same time, work on a military expansion. Because I think that's what you do when you've got a lot of cash in the pot. Oh, right. We were working on getting... increasing electrification. Jean-Jacques Vivecan has appeared in the French Empire. A movement to enact no colonial affairs. Interesting. If I... Okay, interesting. I don't know exactly if he's going to help me get anything done right now, but we'll see about that. So these territories, we're still working on getting the French portion of the population up. We're at 13.5% in Oran, 13.5% in Algiers, and 9% in Constantine. So Constantine's going to get the focus of our efforts here. So let's take a look at what our market needs. It needs engines. It needs power plants. Actually, that's going to be a big site of development. So we'll go ahead and we'll build 20 power plants in Constantine and 10 each in Algiers and Oran. And that'll help us do what we want to do. And in order to sustain that, we'll build 4 levels of railways in Constantine, 2 in Algiers, and 2 in Oran, on top of all the ones we're currently building anyway. And just to make sure that that goes right, we'll queue them to the top of the power plants. There we go. Netherlands is having a situation. Who are you? You are Dutch East Indies Liberal Revolt. And you're Netherlands. Okay, so there's just a lot going on in the Dutch East Indies right now, but I am not worried about it. Proletarian revolt in Hamburg. And Great Britain going after Nama. Again, tempting indeed to side with Nama on this, but ultimately not useful. Sweden goes with the Netherlands. All right, so that'll sort that situation. Hey, Marina Kingdom. Oh my gosh, they're still at war with the United States. That's really, really funny to me. Hilarious. An anarchist. Interesting. Alright, that is Glory to the Queen ending. Just gonna pop forward to the next song. Given that colonization of Africa is almost over, I think there will definitely be a time when we can dial back our investment in colonization, but now is not that time. Let me see. Russia is still pushing edge of Great Britain. I would love them to get past Great Britain, but that's going to have to be a project for later as we continue to take over Ireland and the Netherlands, and then we'll probably start working on seizing bits of Africa. Actually, no, because I still need to take over Sahrawi. Communist Tuscany. Well, things are going quite wild over here. Spain, are you a republic right now? You are. Well, that's exciting. Rural folk and trade unions Presidential Republic. Okay, wow, alright. Everything's going wild over here. Universal suffrage, national supremacy. All the usual suspects, religious schools and charity hospitals. That's interesting. And legacy slavery. That's really curious. I am not comfortable with having a slave state around right now. There also appear to be... They've got a movement to preserve right of assembly, so they must be changing that, but I can't tell what they're changing to. However, given that they've got the armed forces and the Catholic Church supporting it, I think probably the thing that they are trying to do is go to protected speech. Because typically the Catholic Church and the armed forces are against relaxing freedom of speech. Excellent. Migration controls are on the way. I mean, the guy who wants to go to no colonial affairs, and if his movement were stronger, I would actually, frankly, be tempted to just go with him. But we have all that stuff we're working on doing, so it is what it is. Ooh, boy. Expand power plants. A stable supply of power. The recent expansion of the power plants in Manin-Anjou has inspired faith in a future where all of the French Empire is electrified. Trapping the power of roaring rivers and waterfalls by transforming it into the power of a thunderstorm must be a sign that we are approaching the final stage of man's mastery of nature. Are we ready? Morally, intellectually, spiritually? It matters not. It is coming. Unlimited power! As option 1, we can get 33% better throughput for power plants, which is tempting. On the other hand, we can go with there must be other ways to produce electricity, which gives us 6k progress on steam turbine, and I think I'm going to go with that. So, where are we with the electricity market? It's still pretty expensive. I want to grab one of our big urban centers, another one of our big urban centers, and shift that over to electrical streetlights, because I want to continue that expansion. Burgundy is a good candidate with a level 53 one. Oh my gosh, Burgundy has a higher level of urbanization than Ile-de-France. That's wild. Okay, Burgundy it is. Where are we here? Oh my gosh, Brittany's even higher. We're not going to leave Brittany alone. 580 electricity, don't mind if I do. It's going to make that slightly less profitable, but should alleviate... the overall efforts on electrification should relieve our reliance on coal somewhat. Revolution in South Germany. Württemberger Revolt. Rubber Rush in Senegal. Place seems most effective. I really cannot wait until the next election. I'm hoping these two split up, which I think they will, because the trade unions are communist, but the industrialists are feminists. Alright. What did I just... Oh, tech. I just completed a tech. Yes, submarines. So this is an improved convoy raiding technology. I'm going to go ahead and do that. That's going to increase my ironclad's cost while reducing my ammunition cost, which is interesting. Didn't realize that happened. So now we have an event, the war beneath the waves. Supreme submarines. Our growing use of submarines in naval warfare has created a new generation of commanders, exemplified by the likes of Glodo Christian, who understand the nature of underwater warfare very well. The sea is infinite, and yet we merely bob along its surface, oblivious of the depths below. Can you imagine the power in our hands if we could turn that vast abyss into our own domain and strike the fools on the surface whenever we choose? Our submarines shall strangle our foes. This gives us 50% increased convoy raiding efficiency. Promote Christian skills as a commander. He loses convoy raider and gets experienced convoy raider. Or promote Christian as the dashing commander of a new age. He is an anarchist who aligns with the trade unions. I don't necessarily want that guy getting any more, well, popular. But I do want him to stay effective, so we'll go with the second one to make him better at convoy raiding. That's going to make him... Where is he? There we go. Experienced convoy raiding gives him 100% increased convoy raiding efficiency, and that's going to last forever. What a great outfit. That's a man in a submarine right there. Alright. Global Affairs. Württemberger Proletarian Revolt. Alright, so Spain. Oh. We have a trade agreement. That's right. We have a trade agreement, so I can't... And our relationship is quite good, so I actually can't force them to not be... Well, let's damage relations a little bit. Just to get it down to, like... Oh, no, actually, I'm not going to do that, because then we'll lose our trade agreement, and I want to keep that trade agreement. The United States is embargoing Russia. That's an interesting turn of events. These sure are interesting times, I must say. Alright. Loan interest rate. Patriotic fervor. To say one thing I might end up doing is altering our own free speech laws to something a little bit less free, just to get myself a little bit more authority, but also to make suppressing and bolstering interest groups more effective. Let me see if I got any interesting journal entries going on. The Belle Epoque. Huh. I thought I would have the Belle Epoque already. Do I not have a university with higher level than 10? That's bananas. That's really bananas. Well, look at that. Alright, well, we're going to have 5 levels of university in Ile-de-France now. That's just something I've... That's an event I feel like I'm obliged to complete. Opium input shortage, not worried about that. Let's grab those universities and put them at the top of the queue. Get those built real fast. I have to say, the ticking radicals from my unacceptable government is not making me happy right now. Getting a real problem over here. I really screwed myself hard, but this situation also screwed me. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like these two shouldn't align together, especially. Well, I mean, this'll. So these people will move away from each other during the next election. The industrialists are likely to align with the intelligentsia, but that just kind of is what it is. The plus side, our Skyscraper survey is nearly done. So that's going to be nice. We have a lot of revolts in the world, including a radical Philippines proletarian revolt in Selangor. Yeah, I'm going to damage relations with Spain. I don't think there should be Europeans around here still having slavery. Russia, do you have slavery? There's our next success with migration controls. No. Austria? No. Russia? No. Sardinia, Piedmont? I don't desire an alliance with you. I desire an alliance with someone a little bit more able to do stuff. It'd be nice to have an alliance with Spain, actually, but obviously that's a little bit difficult. Hey, Marina Kingdom and the United States have peace. Finally. Maybe now I'll invade them. What do you have? Wow. How did the United States fail to conquer this country? 21 infamy. It's a lot. I would do the 14 infamy Dominion one, but I don't want, my goodness. But I don't want the infamy. I'm still, oh my gosh, we're finally reputable again. That's wonderful. Unbelievably, we need more construction sectors in order to take advantage of all the construction that we're producing. So let's build. Basically, I'm going to build them anywhere we've got significant unemployment at this point. Alright, that seems like enough. How much of an expansion is it? It's 42 levels. Yeah, that should be plenty. We'll go ahead and queue those up to the top, because these build really, really fast. These are going to get built so fast. 3 weeks, really. Alright, so the capitalists have changed ideology to Republican. Well, hopefully this will break them off from the trade unions. Movement to preserve no migration. Oh, stupid. Stupid capitalists. Still, they're only providing a 5.6% stall chance, so I'm hoping that doesn't create a problem for me. I did say I was going to do a military expansion, so let's go ahead with that. I've got quite a few locations in mind. There's some levels here, some levels here. A few more in Ile-de-France. A few more. Orléans-Berry. I have quite a few in Burgundy. There's the Skyscraper finishing. Oh, yeah, quite a few in Lorraine. Some in Wallonia. French Low Countries. Oh. Round that up. Round that one up as well. That should be good to go. The Eiffel Tower. Huh. With the construction of the Eiffel Tower, the Parisian public is divided. While some argue that the building shall become the most notorious landmark, others refer to it as the Giant Radio Tower. We writers, painters, sculptors, architects, and passionate devotees of hitherto untouched beauty of Paris protest with all our strength that with all our indignation in the name of slighted French taste against the erection of this useless and monstrous Eiffel Tower. So, options are, they're wrong. The building is Parry itself. Minus 10% bureaucracy and plus 10% prestige. Gustave Eiffel appears in France. Eiffel? La Tour Eiffel. Yeah. That's an interesting option. Now that they say it, intelligentsia gets happy about it, but industrialists get mad. Alexandre Gustave Eiffel appears. Or it'll be demolished in less than 10 years anyway. Machinists get angry, academics get happy. That's really strange. I'm going to go with the... This is odd. I'm going to go with the thing that makes the industrialists unhappy and the intelligentsia happy. We can go with that for now. Alright. Skyscraper site identified. Our architects and engineers have identified... Okay. Hold up. We have a big event going on in here. But Harar wants a trade agreement. Interesting. Yes, I'll have a trade agreement with you, Harar. Sorry, I thought that was about this major diplomatic play that's popping off right here. Skyscraper site identified. Our architects and engineers have identified Parry in Ile-de-France as the optimal site to begin construction of a skyscraper. Gentlemen, we are going to erect the tallest building in the world. The foundation alone will need hundreds of men, more if they will not work 12-hour shifts. Every day, we will need to transport thousands of bags of cement into the heart of a metropolis. We must secure an immense quantity of steel that must, like Atlas, hold the weight of the whole world. The task ahead of us is monumental. Lay the foundations. Alright, let's go ahead and get that built. And of course, Parry is now short of infrastructure. Let's build a couple of railways there as well. Round it up to 4 just to make sure that that happens. Right. Okay. Settle down, AI powers. We're going in place. Baden wants a trade agreement. Okay, alright, fine. We can have a trade agreement. Baden. You're good to go. Alright. Le Grand Rue de Paris. To celebrate the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th, a massive Ferris wheel has been constructed in Paris. From its pods, the fireworks of the New Year's can be seen all across the grand city of Paris. All of Paris was awash in light, from the boats streaming down the Seine to the reflection of fireworks on snow-bleached rooftops. As the pod crested the top of the wheel, Marie imagined that she could see her modest house, its own lights extinguished to save another coin for her husband's liquid indulgences. Perhaps, she thought, in a world so vast and bright, there was a future for her outside of it after all. To a new century? Ooh, 5 legitimacy and 10% loyalists from standard of living increases. That's excellent. Option 2 is underway with the old. Upper and middle stratum pops become more loyalist right now. I'm going to go with the first one. I want to get that legitimacy up. Alright, so now, what's going on here? This is a play against Egypt. They want to conquer Hejazi, Yemen, here. Subjugate Oman. Conquer Hejaz, here. Transfer Khiva from Russia, here. On Britain's side is everyone who's with Britain. On Egypt's side is Russia, Great Qing, Hejaz, obviously, and Oman, and the Ottoman Empire. Well, that's an interesting turn of events. I am actually extremely tempted to align with Egypt at this time, because I don't want Britain to get any stronger here. Britain has become infamous, so if they're stopped up, they won't stay infamous. But, obviously, they're getting a bunch of territory in the Middle East out of this. And control of Khiva, which they want for some reason. This is a very interesting situation. I'm actually extremely tempted to side with Egypt on this. They're not super close with me, but on the other hand, stopping up Great Britain is a good goal, especially at this point in the game. Relative strength and level of mobilization -20. Relative strength and mobilization -30. Size of British loans, turmoil in Great Britain. Turmoil in Great Britain, turmoil in Egypt. Interesting. You know what? I can't. Oh! Relations between the French Empire and Egypt are too low to support them in a diplomatic play. That's wild. Huh. Didn't even know that was a thing. Right. Okay. The People's Opposition. The activist Jean-Jacques Wikeva have stirred up public opposition to the enactment of migration controls. Certain figures in the armed forces are concerned as to how this would affect their support amongst the people. A sea of papers blanketed the walls of the capital, regardless of the sanitary services' valiant nightly attempts to remove them. Prosper Bergeret stabbed a finger at a building at random. Do you see that? How am I supposed to arrange support for the measure if it could be my home being vandalized next? Open a dialogue with the opposition. This reduces enactment time and reduces the radicalism of the movement against it. or the armed forces concerns are wholly unfounded. This makes the armed forces weaker. I think, obviously, we need to do this one. Yeah, I mean, this just seems like a no-brainer. All right. Le Moulin Rouge. The opening of a luxurious cabaret at the foot of Montmartre Hill has made the nightlife in Paris considerably lively, attracting, of course, the attention and suspicions of the conservatives. The woman sighs throughout the report, in a smoke-induced room. Incense and cigarettes are indistinguishable. So is vapor, even though it's impossible to know where it's coming from. The music is muffled here, thick as syrup. Thank you for the company on these cold nights, she purrs, tossing the document into the fire. We were in much need of some extra fuel. The place has it all. 50% urban center throughput, minus 10% authority. Ooh, that's rough. Or this immoral joint should be shut down at once. Messes up my bureaucracy, but increases my authority. I'm going to do the first one, because I like authority. Art Nouveau. The spreading of a new artistic style... Wow, the Belle Epoque is really kicking off. The spread of a new artistic style, inspired by nature, imitating the sinuous curves of plants through robust iron... Hey, new election. Through robust iron... Oh my goodness. Dial it back. Art Nouveau. The spread of a new artistic style, inspired by nature, imitating the sinuous curves of plants through robust iron and glass to convey the contradictions of progress, has reached Paris' higher spheres. Well, you know, I just painted on. I went on, without design or sketch. It grew as I painted, and toward the end I reached such a point of perfection, putting in every touch with such freedom, that when I came around the corner to where I started, why, I had to paint part of it over again, as the differences would have been too marked. And the harmony in blue and gold, developing, you know, I forgot everything and my joy in it. Something going on in Italy. Something big going on in Italy. Gonna have to take a look at that as well. The new style is truly mesmerizing. French culture becomes obsessed with fine art. 20% Arts Academy throughput. That seems interesting. Or, as they paint without... And they say they paint without a design. Well, it shows. Aristocrats and academics become more radical. All right, we'll do the first one. Art for everybody. Oil Rush, I'm going to do the same thing I always do. Rubber Rush, I'm going to do the same thing I always do. The Ivory Coast Pipeline. Oil companies operating in Ivory Coast are requested government assistance in funding a pipeline, promising that its construction will be accompanied by other infrastructural improvements. Putting a liquid inside a solid, putting that solid inside another solid, and propelling the whole mess across a railway. Trust me, in the future they will laugh at how he once did this. Now let me tell you how simple it could be. It'll be just like turning a tap. We had two options here. This is a standardized event, and we're going to get this a lot. Number one is it'll contribute to the funding of this project. It costs £900 weekly, and makes the industrialists happy, as well as increasing infrastructure permanently. Or it's not in the budget. This makes the industrialists salty. This cost is nothing. We're going to do it, and we're going to do it every time. So you're going to see more of that, and that's how it's going to go. The first election. The French Empire is holding its first election since the voting franchise was extended to women, marking the beginning of a new era in French democracy. Dropping her vote into the ballot box was, in a way, an anticlimactic moment. Getting there had felt like a real political struggle. It had been loud, disobedient, sometimes violent. The reward was this quiet, orderly exercise of power. Once again, she was a loyal citizen, only the expectations had changed. Then again, perhaps this was what power felt like. Perhaps that was what made it insidious. She wondered if this had been how those who denied her this up until now had felt. For a fleeting moment, she hoped she would not get used to it. A great victory for the suffragists. George Clemenceau gets plus 30 popularity. Exciting. All right, war popped off in the Middle East. What's going on in Italy? We have the Two Sicilies and Radical Parma. So Radical Parma... So the Two Sicilies have Parma as a dominion, okay, and there's a radical movement in Parma. The Two Sicilies are being supported by Russia, and Austria is supporting Parma. I think ultimately this doesn't this doesn't have an effect on me, so I'm going to leave it be, probably. With that having been said, I think we are building the Skyscraper, so that's going to give us 25% extra government administration throughput. We got 30 levels of government admin here. That's producing 1,950 bureaucracy, and so that's going to increase it by by 25%. By about 450. That's not really going to cover my difference here, so I'm going to build up another 5. Is that going to cover it? I'm going to build up another 10. We're just going to build those up. We're going to put them at the top of the queue here so that we can get that going. And that's going to deal with this problem that we got because of that whole business with, I think, the Eiffel Tower. All right. Decadence in Parry. Artists and authors affiliated with the intelligentsia have begun taking artistic inspiration from Joris Karl Huysmans' decadent novel, À rebours, detailing the experiences of a man who retreats into hyper-aesthetic sensory experiences and idealistic artistry to escape the world. There is not one of her inventions, no matter how subtle or imposing it may be, which human genius cannot create. There can be no doubt about it. This eternal, driveling old woman is no longer admired by true artists, and the moment has come to replace her by artifice. The very guidebook of decadence. This makes the intelligentsia stronger, or a poisonous, corrosive text. Rejection of decadentisme, 5% society research speed. That seems really good. I'm going with the second one. Friends abroad. While campaigning for additional support, Jean-Jacques Vivecan pointed to Norway as an example of how the Democratic Alliance would strengthen foreign ties. The essence of trade is simple. One party has something the other party needs, and will give it on the basis of mutual exchange. Most commonly, a book for a book, a meal for a meal, a favor for a favor. Less commonly, and arguably more perilous, is the trade for which nations make human life for material wealth, otherwise known as economics. We welcome our friends from Norway. This gives the Democratic Alliance 20% extra momentum and improves relations. He must have a factory there. This reduces the momentum of the Democratic Alliance and makes him Vivecan more popular. Or if Vivecan loves Norway so much, he should live there. 20% chance of momentum for them. 10% chance if he's exiled and he becomes more popular. 70% chance of reduced relations, and the industrialists get mad. I'm going to go with the first one, because at this point, now that they're in their own party, I think they'll make a good addition to the government. But we'll see how the election goes. The Communist Party has big ol' support. That's really shocking. They have so much momentum. Bananas. Or no. That's the Democratic Alliance. That's wild. All right, well, we might have to form a government of the communists after all if things don't go our way. But we'll see. In any case, that is a question for next time. La Belle Epoque has been an interesting one. We've had a lot of events, but for now, it's time to put a pin in it. So I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you all on the other side.